The atmosphere inside the auditorium is electric as the host introduces the next performer, a young Filipino man with slicked back hair, dressed in a black leather jacket that instantly gives off Elvis Presley vibes. He walks confidently onto the stage, his eyes glimmering with a mix of excitement and determination. The audience applauds politely, unsure of what to expect. When he reaches the microphone, he gives a respectful nod to the judges and introduces himself in a humble tone, sharing that he has admired Elvis since childhood and that performing one of his songs tonight is a dream come true. The judges listen attentively, with Simon Cowell leaning forward, clearly curious but also skeptical, having seen many Elvis impersonators before. As the contestant strums the first few chords on his guitar, the crowd quiets down. Then, he begins to sing, "Can't Help Falling in Love," and instantly, the room transforms. His voice is rich, smooth, and hauntingly familiar. Every note, every inflection carries the soulful essence of Elvis Presley. The tone, the warmth, and the emotional delivery feel so authentic that the audience collectively gasps. Simon's expression changes from mild interest to complete astonishment. He leans closer, eyes widening as if trying to confirm that what he's hearing is real. The contestant continues, his confidence growing with every verse. The stage lights cast a soft golden glow on him, enhancing the nostalgic atmosphere. Members of the audience begin nodding to the rhythm, some even placing their hands on their hearts. It's as though time has stopped, and for those few minutes, Elvis lives again through this young Filipino singer. When the song reaches its peak, Simon exhales in disbelief, visibly moved, while the crowd cheers louder than before, completely captivated by the uncanny voice of the King Reborn. As the performance continues, the young Filipino contestant completely immerses himself in the spirit of Elvis Presley. Every movement, the subtle tilt of his head, the signature lip curl, and the smooth sway of his hips, mirrors the king of rock and roll with uncanny accuracy. The audience starts to rise from their seats, clapping and cheering in rhythm with the music. The judges exchange looks of pure amazement, whispering among themselves that this doesn't feel like an impersonation but a genuine reincarnation of Elvis's energy. The contestant flashes a charming grin mid-song, and the crowd responds with wild applause, their excitement filling every corner of the auditorium. He glides across the stage with confidence, making eye contact with the audience, just like Elvis did during his live shows. His voice remains steady and powerful, carrying an emotional depth that touches everyone listening. The women in the crowd scream with excitement, waving their hands in the air as if they were at a 1950s rock concert. Heidi and Sophia look stunned, unable to stop smiling. Howie leans forward, tapping his hand on the table, clearly enjoying every second. Simon Cowell, however, sits unusually quiet, his focus locked on the contestant. His eyes follow every move, every note, analyzing with disbelief and admiration. When the contestant hits the high note flawlessly, Simon's jaw tightens slightly, his expression softening from skepticism to genuine astonishment. The performance feels timeless, like Elvis has somehow stepped back onto the stage in a new form. The audience chants and cheers louder as the contestant nears the end of the song, their energy reflecting the magic of the moment. By now, the atmosphere is electric, and it's clear to everyone that they're witnessing something extraordinary, a voice and presence that defies time itself. Midway through the performance, the energy in the theater reaches a mesmerizing high. The contestant takes a deep breath and steps closer to the edge of the stage, his eyes reflecting both passion and gratitude. The lights dim slightly, replaced by a soft amber glow that bathes him in warmth, creating an atmosphere straight out of an old Elvis concert. Behind him, the big screen begins to display nostalgic visuals, spinning vinyl records, flickering neon signs, and silhouettes of dancers from the 1950s. The crowd is completely drawn in, their eyes fixed on the performer as he continues to sing with remarkable emotion and precision. His voice deepens, carrying a soulful tone that fills the room with intensity. The audience sways in unison, many holding up their phones like modern-day lighters, recording the moment while being lost in it. Some fans close their eyes, letting the sound wash over them, while others whisper in awe, saying he sounds exactly like Elvis. The live band behind him, clearly moved, begins to play with even greater feeling, feeding off the magic unfolding on stage. The contestants' gestures remain graceful yet powerful, a slight bend of the knees, a smooth hand movement toward the audience, and a small smile that melts hearts instantly. Every note he sings seems to transport the audience back in time, to a golden era of music where Elvis ruled the stage. Simon Cowell's expression has softened completely. He's no longer judging, he's simply enjoying. There's a sense of nostalgia, wonder, and admiration spreading through the entire room. By the time the bridge of the song arrives, the audience is completely mesmerized, witnessing not just a performance but a spiritual connection between a modern talent and the eternal legacy of Elvis Presley. As the final verse begins, the atmosphere in the theater becomes almost reverent. The Filipino contestant's voice grows softer, filled with emotion and sincerity, as he delivers the last lines of "Can't Help Falling in Love." His eyes glisten under the warm spotlight, and the crowd hangs onto every word. Then, with one final, breathtaking note, he ends the song and lets the last chord echo into silence. For a brief moment, the room is completely still, no one moves, no one speaks. It's as if time itself has paused to honor what just happened. Then, the entire audience erupts into thunderous applause and cheers. People rise to their feet instantly, giving him a standing ovation that fills the hall with overwhelming energy. The contestant bows deeply, clearly emotional, his hand pressed to his chest in gratitude. Tears glimmer in the eyes of a few spectators who seem genuinely touched by the performance. The other judges clap and smile in disbelief. Heidi and Sophia exchange amazed looks, whispering that he just brought Elvis back to life through his voice. Howie stands up, applauding with a huge grin, shouting over the crowd that it was absolutely unbelievable. Simon, however, remains seated for a few seconds longer. His expression is unreadable, a mix of astonishment and respect. Slowly, he starts clapping, his eyes locked on the contestant. Then he leans toward the microphone and says, "I've heard hundreds of Elvis tributes in my life, but you sound exactly like him." The crowd roars even louder. Simon shakes his head, still in disbelief, before letting out a small laugh and smiling genuinely. The contestant smiles back through tears, overwhelmed by the once-in-a-lifetime recognition from one of the toughest judges in the world. The cheers continue to echo as the contestant stands on stage, overwhelmed by emotion. Golden lights shimmer around him, and he can hardly believe the reaction he's receiving. The judges begin to share their thoughts, one by one. Heidi leans into her microphone, smiling warmly as she says that she got chills the moment he started singing, that his voice carried both power and tenderness, something she rarely hears. Sophia follows, saying it felt as though the stage had turned into a time machine, taking everyone back to the golden age of rock and roll. Howie grins widely and adds that this performance wasn't an imitation, it was a rebirth of a legend, calling it one of the most magical moments in the show's history. Then all eyes turn to Simon Cowell. The theater grows quiet again, everyone waiting for his final words. Simon folds his hands, leans forward, and with a rare, heartfelt smile says, "You didn't just perform, you brought Elvis back to life tonight." The audience explodes into applause, chanting and cheering with excitement. Simon pauses for a beat, then glances toward the golden buzzer. The contestants' eyes widen in disbelief, realizing what might happen next. Simon smirks slightly, raises his hand, and slams the golden buzzer. In an instant, golden confetti bursts from above, cascading like glittering rain over the entire stage. The contestant drops to his knees, overcome with joy and tears streaming down his face. The audience stands, chanting, "Elvis! Elvis!" while the judges clap and smile. Simon laughs, pointing proudly toward the stage. It's a moment of pure magic, the kind that defines talent show history, as the young Filipino singer basks in golden light, proving that legends truly never die.